All right, so as people finish trickling in, again, if you want the exact same graph paper as me, get a sheet of the 5-star with the triangle holes, just because we have a ton of that. There's a stack of it right up here if you want. Get a straight edge if you want, but you gotta have a shapes template. Grab a seat. I don't know if it's like. Sorry? Anywhere? It's healthy to stand. Octavio's been moving one of those stools and just standing back there. You can't stand up here. Just stand back there. You guys will be okay. All right, we need to dive into this because I feel like the drawing is going to take a while. All right, ladies and gents, here's our objective. I'm leaving this, well, I'll swap this actually. Let's do this. All right, ladies and gents, here's what we're doing. On your graph paper, we are going to create this shape. Please do not color it in yet. And here's what I discovered this morning. If we are using the 5-star graph paper with the big squares, so you can compare it front to back, check it. There are multiple different circle templates. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do, and then I'm going to redraw it since I drew it like a couple different ways up here. We need to match the dimensions in the book, but that doesn't mean we have to draw our shape 20 wide. If we shrink it down to less squares, we are doing what? What word is that of like it? We're going to represent something bigger but with a smaller drawing. Decrease. Yeah, both. So we decrease it by using a scale factor, right? So we scale factor it and use, I don't know, a half. I don't want to use 20 boxes, but I could use 10 boxes. So if you go 10 boxes wide, then this section can be 4 boxes wide. This section can be 6 boxes tall. And then this, what we're going to label as a 3, would get a box and a half, right? And then connect over. This circle, here's the thing I need you paying attention to. That circle, if you're using the 5-star paper and you're using the big squares, it's your biggest circle template, which is actually accurate for the 10 feet across. My little circle was not accurate, and that's why I tried again. The big circle that goes all the way out to there and all the way out to there actually gives us an accurate drawing for 10 feet across. So I'm going to redraw this while you guys draw it. Okay, so if you need help and you need to watch, go ahead and watch up here. But we're going to shrink everything down to half what they tell us it is. So I'm going to choose a start point. And I'm just going to give you some time. So actually, if you need to watch, go ahead and watch. But I'm going to put that music back on because we're just drawing right now. It's 20, but we're going to make it 10 squares. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey guys, we shouldn't be talking because I know the people talking aren't done with their drawings because we just started. Yeah, guys, you can always grab excess paper and stock your binder. Now, I'm not going to rush you today. I would encourage you, make these lines nice and straight and bold. Sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. So I've made a 10 by 6 rectangle to start. I've made a 10 by 6 to start. with your circle, you want to leave a little gap at the top and a little gap at the bottom. If you're using the same paper as me, it should come out to work just right. Yes. If the distance all the way across, hint, hint, relating back to what we did yesterday, if the distance all the way across the circle is 10, what would be the radius? 5. So if you want to go ahead and label a radius, we could do that. What's up? I don't know why these got stuck back. You know what else need a template? I've got more. If you guys are not comfortable telling me when you need something that I... Anyone else? No, Mr. Estes had borrowed some. When he brought it back, he put them in the back of my room. I don't know why.
It doesn't match up.
What do you mean? You erased it. What do you mean it doesn't match up?
Like, I would have to draw the line like all at once for all the lines because otherwise they're not going to match up and it's going to
Because you're using your ruler as opposed to like a template, you mean? I don't know exactly what you mean, but can we do something to just get past being frustrated?
Oh, yeah.
All right, now here.
Good afternoon, Phoenix. Please pardon the interruption. Thank you to everybody that helped.
Oh, yeah, this is important.
PSA flower sale. The results are in, and our top sellers who are winners of the Amazon gift cards are
Crumble.
first place Simon Finch with 26 plants sold.
Oh, dang.
Second place Miles Rush with 23 plants sold. Third place goes to Christopher Richner with 20 plants sold.
Woohoo, 7:30.
Congratulations to all of our winners, and thank you again to everyone who participated. The flower sale earned over $1,300 for our Phoenix PTSA, which all goes back into making Phoenix great. Thank you for your help, and Evan Root
So,
at the break.
if you didn't catch that,
Thank you.
$1,300. That just from you guys selling plants to whoever wanted to buy them. We didn't like force it, or it was just like an easy fundraiser for like, here, buy some plants. $1,300 that we made for the PTSA. Now, most of the time that gets dispersed out to all of you for travel. Normally, like those fundraisers, that's how we deal with that money. Or we can like buy stuff for Phoenix, but most of the time student fundraisers are for travel. So like we are all getting a kickback to help pay for stuff on the trips that we're about to go on. So thank you guys for everyone who participated. All right, your next objective, like where we're going with this, and I'm going to help you guys start. I'm not saying you need to be done with the drawing yet, but give me your eyes up on the board for just a second.
Yeah.
What we're then going to do with your colored pencils that you have is shade the shape like the book has, but in different sections. So I'm going to make this triangle my blue, and you don't need to do this yet, because I'm going to give you plenty of time. But then we're going to write the work on our paper, and you can either write it with your blue, sorry, I can't color and talk at the same time, apparently. So then when I go to find the area, because our goal is to find the area of the total shaded region, which remember is, we got to get rid of that circle somehow. Now, if you notice, they have a dotted line box around the whole outside, so I wonder if that has, like, we could connect this, and we could draw that dotted line box around ours. That might be useful if you want to draw that dotted line box. But if I go to find the area of this blue triangle, the formula that I'm going to use for area, yeah, it's a half. I just broke my pencil. It's a half times base times height. So please write down that formula first, and then I can work in pencil, right, if I don't want to work in my colored pencil. And it doesn't matter what order we do this in. If I do the half times the 8 first, that's 4 times 12. So we're going to do that for every region. So then when we go to shade the center rectangle, you got to shade around that circle. Now, here's really your task. You and your partner, or not, if you decide you're working on your own, need to figure out the total shaded area of the whole thing and figure out how to deal with that center region. Now, there are multiple ways to do this. I'm going to let you guys decide what you want to do. I'm going to add that dotted line that they have because, I don't know, it might be useful. I'm going to give you at least 5 more minutes to work on this.
Are you defining the total area of the whole thing, or the area of that circle?
Area of the shaded region.
Oh.
Composite area is what this is called. By the way, our header, if you missed it, is area of composite shapes, or you can just say composite area. So if you missed our header, it's just composite area. But dude, I love this dot camera. Like having this so I can draw what the kids are drawing on a piece of graph paper, it's so monumental.
Wow. Like composite.
Yeah,
An area. Wait, what?
Well, 4 times 12, just for that region. Unless I'm wrong.
You're right. Yeah,
So that's the only one I'm doing up here. I'm going to color the rest of mine, but I'm not doing these. I'm going to have you guys talk me through how to do the other ones. Well, the circle has been cut out of the rectangle. So remember, if we're shading this region and we're not shading this region, we're finding the area of the shaded, it's like the circle's been cut out and removed. So guys, when we're envisioning this shape, it's like somebody removed this circle from the rectangle. We're trying to determine what work to do, like what math to do to solve for the area that remains. If you don't know, ask your partner, and if both of you don't know, ask a neighboring group. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't solved it. I don't have work yet. I don't know what the area of the whole thing is. What? Yeah, I'm still coloring. Right now I'm the coloring teacher. Alright, and about 30 seconds to a minute more. You should be done with coloring because I think you guys are better than me.
Why? That's an awkward one.
Are you sure?
That's my room.
What? How is that causing drama? No. Mr. Hudson, do you want to hit all of us? Layla said that you wanted to hit all of us. You looked angry that we were talking.
When?
Just now!
I was just really focused on what I was doing. I didn't even I really wasn't even paying attention to you guys. No offense, but in that moment, you all didn't exist. I was just trying to draw. Oh, I care about you. Just in that moment, I was focused on what I was doing. Yes.
Yeet? This is actually in the dictionary.
Okay, I guess. If it has to be true, I guess it's true.
You look like
What shape do I have shaded in orange up here? Triangle. How do we find the area of a triangle? Same formula. Guys, you should always be starting with writing the formula before you put any numbers in. Always. And dudes, I tell you this, having been doing math for a much longer time than you, and like I have certain things memorized and certain things like are just easy, quote unquote, for me, right? I still, anytime I do a math problem, write the formula first. Generic formula before you ever plug in specifics. Trust me, it will avoid your mistakes. Now, which of these numbers would be easier to take the half of? The 20. So I'm going to put that one as my base, quote unquote. So then this becomes 10 times 3. And that triangle area becomes 30. Now that's great. However, I've left the hardest task I have. The rectangle, turquoise, weird shape. It's a rectangle, but it's missing a piece, right? What math could I do to figure out the area just shaded in turquoise? Eva? If I do 20 times 12, that would be the whole area of that rectangle. So we're going to say base times height, right, minus, Eva said, the area of the circle. How do we find the area of a circle?
Pi times radius or
Ooh, hold on, pi times radius.
oh yeah, okay, well times 2.
Ooh, not times 2, squared. Be careful.
But that's the same thing.
No, remember squaring is times itself. Not times 2, squaring is times itself. So we definitely need to practice these skills on our homework to make sure we get the difference between circumference can do times 2. Sorry, this is an R. I just can't erase colored pencil.
There we go. Got the answer. What?
So now I'm going to write my work in there. Guys, if you haven't done this yet, please do this along. 20 times 12, the dimensions of my rectangle. Right? Minus, well, pi, we know pi.
Pi times 25.
What is our radius? So I'm going to write out the work, but I agree with you. So our radius is 5, so we put in 5 squared. But please double check in your brain that you realize squaring means multiply by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and do this multiplication. 20 times 12, do 2 times 12, and then put the 0 on. And this is the proper way to write this. If we put it in terms of pi, is 25 pi. But then if we do the multiplication, sorry, my standing desk is kind of weird to write on. It's going to be a little over 75, right? Anyone have it for me? What? 78.5. All right, now at this point right now, is anyone confused with how we set up this work or got the values that we had? Like, I need you to be honest with me right now. We're looking at turquoise, which was a rectangle with a circle now removed out of it. So we don't really have a proper name for it. And that is where we get the word composite. A composite shape is a shape composed of multiple shapes. Whether you put them together or take one out of the other, that's what makes something a composite shape. So a lot of shapes out in the real world can be defined by, like, that's a rectangle, that's a triangle. But there are plenty of other ones that can't. But we could draw lines, cut things apart, and make them into our normal, like, geometric shapes. So now when I do this subtraction, what's the area of just that turquoise region?
161.46.
Okay, so if we rounded, this would be 161.5, right? Now that's turquoise, like at the end, right? We took the circle out, that is turquoise. So now how do I find the total area of the whole thing? Add them all up, we got to sum it. What do we get for the total?
239.5.
And then, did we have units? Ah, what does this tick mark mean? Feet. So we want to make sure we label this feet squared. Guys, I'm okay with while you do your work and while you find these numbers not using labels, but your end answer has to have a label on it. Your end answer has to have a label on it. Are there any questions? I'm going to put this whole thing up on the TV. Well, actually, so imagine this is land that you own and this is a pond. And I'm trying to figure out how much fertilizer I need to buy for my grass. My grass is everything around the pond. The pond doesn't need fertilizer. It'll need its own chemicals. Like, this is real. You would do this. I, right now, need to recalculate how much, like, fertilizer I need because I'm trying to fix my yard. So I'm going to do, like, a top coat seeding. And, like, if you don't use enough, it's worthless. Like, you might as well have not done it. And if you use too much, you can, like, poison your lawn. Yeah, you got to know how much to use. And they tell you on the bag how many square feet. And then you set your spreader to, like, a certain ratio.
My neighbor has poisoned their lawn.
All right. Do we have any remaining questions on how we did the shape in 42? Any questions? Because guess what? I'm about to have you do 43 on your own. A basketball key, which this is appropriate for the fact that we're in the middle of March Madness right now. The key on the basketball court, don't know why they call it a key really, except it sort of looks like a lock, involves that composite shape right there. It's 19 feet from where the hoop is, so the court actually goes beyond the key. But the line of the key, like, is under where the basket is, so it's 19 feet back to the free throw line. And then, you know that arc part is kind of like his safety zone in a way. And then it used to be the three-point line was on the back side of the key, but now they bumped the three-point line back because, you know, we're all freakishly tall these days and really good at basketball. So that is different now. But you have, let's say, 5 minutes. So here's what's up. Find your area and then verify it with a different group. Okay? Find your area and then verify it with a different group. Go for it.
Oh, we should draw that.
If I was you, I'd draw a quick little sketch of this on your paper. Right now they don't tell us, so you can use whatever you want. If you have a shapes template, you might be able to use a circle on the end of this, potentially. Maybe, depending on what size you make things. Yeah, I wish I'd made this the right size. I have a question. If I'm gonna start over. I screwed up before.
That was really artistic.
Yeah, my circle stunk. So now I'm gonna draw a circle first and then draw a rectangle off of it.
That's what I'm doing.
Look, my sister stole my art skills. Let it go. So, straight line. They put the line here. If this, hold up. If this is 6 feet.
12.
Ah, this is 12.
Wait, how did you get 3?
3? 3? What do you mean 3?
Oh, like the squares. Are you using the tiny ones?
Yeah, I flipped my paper because I screwed up. I'm not. You don't have to draw matching me. I flip my paper because I goofed up.
Okay.
What? You don't need me.
Yes, she does.
Wait, miss?
Oh, no. Well, what's half of 19?
Mr. Hudson.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, is the thingy 37.68?
18.
I don't know. Look at where I am. I'm behind you.
18.5.
And then how do we get that?
It's 9.5. Wait, how'd you make that? What? Why does it fit on my paper? It doesn't fit on my paper.
Hey, Brendan. If you would like to sing songs, go to the office and call your parents and explain to them you don't know the difference between math and choir. Sorry, I'm trying to make class a little bit more enjoyable and let us color some things in and stuff, but we do still have content to cover. As I said yesterday, and I forget if I announced it to this class, but animal noises, singing, whistling, non-appropriate behavior. I will invite you to go to the office and call your parents and explain to them that apparently you're not ready for 8th grade. Now, can I find the area of that turquoise region?
Yes.
Like easily?
No.
So what would be an easier way to split my shape?
Find the area of the circle.
I could do the area of the circle, sure, yeah.
But you could also draw a line.
Ooh, if I split my shading here and find the area of the rectangle, what do I have left out here? Half of a circle. This is the easier way to solve this problem, is split at the rectangle and then do the half circle separately.
Wait, then how
Figure
long
it out.
is the outside?
19, they told us it's 19.
No, but the
From the,
Oh, wait, if
the
it's
left?
on
If this is 12, Ava,
then the outside.
and this is 12.
Help me.
So guys, you will be faced with situations like this on the test where they only give you a couple labels and you have to use the labels they give you to figure out the other ones. So like they gave us the 6, but they didn't give us this 12. We had to figure out this 12 and then take it over there. So you're gonna have to be really aware and don't get yourself freaked out saying, oh no, I don't have the information I need. This is not a trick, right? The test is not a trick. It's just testing, can you use your thinking skills? If you're fighting with the drawing, please get over it. Just make a quick sketch and get it up there so we can do the work.
Wait, my right.
Probably. I mean, you're most of the time, right? I don't know. I need to calculate it. You don't have any work written out, so I can't even check your work. No, there are no buts. If you don't have work written out and you ask me if it's right, there's no way I can check if you're right. Also, you could have just copied it.
From where?
I don't know, but all you have is an answer written down, so I don't know how you got your work, like how you got there. Now this is when writing the formula is critical. I am going to write on my paper half pi times radius squared. So I do not forget that this is only a half circle.
I'm not confused about that, but somebody is asking what half of 19 is.
We don't need half of 19 here.
Wait, so is there like a pi number on the calculator?
There is. It's on the left-hand side. If you're using the TI multi-views, left-hand side, just above the caret. Or you can just use 3.14.
Okay, I did it.
So Ava, just off me looking at 19 times 12,
Yeah.
you're on the same area of 80 wasn't enough. What's 19 times 12? Anyone got it?
226.
228 or 226?
26. Oh, 28, sorry. I'm bad.
Hey, that's another good reminder. Look twice at your calculator and things on the test. Like, double check yourself. Right? This is going to sound bad, But the best thing you can tell yourself when you're taking one of those tests is I guarantee at some point I make a mistake. Watch out for it. Like, that's the mindset you need to be in of, like, double check yourself. Don't be the middle school overly confident. I know everything. Nobody knows better than me, man. What? I'm looking at everybody. Why are you turning around looking at people? So, seriously. So, now Ava just iterated this. She did the math right in her calculator. But an 8, Ava, face forward, please, can quickly look like a 6. So, Ava thinks she's funny, and now that it's become a thing, if you would like to do that again, you can leave. So, Ava, it's happened 4 times now. It's an accident when it first happens. Would we like to pursue this conversation?
No.
Okay. Because we've known each other for like 8 months now, and you know who I am. I know who you are. I have the respect to call you the proper names. The circle, half circle, that is, 1/2 times pi. What's our radius here? 6. Be careful not to use the 12. I'm going to change my order. I'm going to make this half. My 6 squared is 36, which is easy to cut in half. And then I can do my pi last. Half of 36, 18. I got to multiply that by pi. The test will probably say use 3.14 for pi. So you might just want to get in that habit of just typing the 3.14. If we do here, that's 56.52. I used 3.14. I did not use the pi button. So if you got a different answer, it's probably because you used the pi button. If I use exact pi, it's 56.548667. So it's actually 56.55 if we round to the hundredth place.
Don't you have to divide by 2 though?
I did. So I changed my order. I did the half up here because that number was easier to work with. I don't like using calculators when I don't have to. So here, like, make sure this makes sense. If not, push back and make me explain it. Half pi times radius squared deals with half circle. So then I set up half times pi times 6 squared. 6 squared is 6 times 6. It's 36. I put the pi on the end because it's harder to work with. With multiplication, I can change the order. Why are we making a face? No, I need to know, does this make sense or not?
No, but I don't understand because I did 12 times 3.14.
It's not 12. 12's our diameter. So radius squared, Ava, I think you're still goofing up squaring. Radius squared, if you use 6 for our radius, it's not times 2. It's times itself. No, what is 6 times 6? 36. It's the idea of squaring is not times 2. This is good stuff for us to process through, guys. Like, now's the time for us to make mistakes. This is our safe space. So now, Ava, are you with me? Does this make sense?
Yes.
Everyone, be aware, Ava's the most honest person in this room. At least I feel like. Like, I'm not saying anyone is dishonest, but she is great at telling me, I don't know. Like, wait, explain that. Does anybody else want some clarification?
So I really don't. Okay. So you went from half. Where did?
So
Oh,
this
no, I got it. I lied.
became 36.
Yeah, and then the pi is still. I didn't.
The pi is still here, but I moved it out there. I used my commutative property,
So how'd you get 18?
half of 36.
Oh.
Because this is easy to do. I can do that without my calculator. I like doing math without my calculator if I can.
So you did 18 times pi.
Yeah, I use 3.14 though, because your test, the test next week will probably say use 3.14 for pi. So when you do the multiplication, you want to do times 3.14, like actually type it out. So here is the difference. Like, so I did 18 times 3.14, got 56.52. 18 times pi, 56.55 if I round.
So then the answer is 284.
So then we got to add 228 plus my 56 point, I'm using the 5.2, and our total area of the basketball key, which if you've been watching, they're using different floor colors for some reason for the key now. So this part of the basketball court will be a different color than the rest of the court, or the part around the key. I don't know, I think they're just trying to make the courts look more interesting and so the players can quickly see, am I in the 3-point range or not? But that would be our total area, and that is all in feet, so we gotta label it feet squared. What questions do we have about that? We took this, we split it up at the rectangle and the half circle. So the last thing we're going to talk about are shapes that are way easier than what you realize. This, if you talk to Mrs. Goldring, she'd love to talk to you about this. This is what people used to use to make clothes. They would have a template like this on like cardboard. Like my mom still has some of these cardboard pieces. Yeah, and then you cut out your fabric, and sometimes you wrap the fabric around it if you want extra for the seams or whatnot. But we would use that. Now, the problem is when I go to Joann Fabrics, and yes, I go to Joann Fabrics, it's a great store, I need to know how much fabric to buy. And it comes based off area. And really, you buy a length, but then you know how much area based off the length because a bolt is folded over properly. Yeah, I know fabrics. Come at me. So, I'm a crafter. Don't worry. Here's the thing. These are called parallelograms. If you want to throw one of these on your paper, please do so. Make it 4 tall. Now this is going to be the weird thing. Make it 4 tall, make it 3 wide, but then this is also going to be 4 tall. So this is 4, 4, this is 3 across, and then we're just going to connect these diagonal points. Now the reason I'm drawing up here is so that I can use one of my smartboard tools, but it's just 4 tall, go 3 across, and then this is where it gets weird. Make sure your left side is also only 4 tall. Now, you could actually start your left side right here and make it 4 tall and go 1 more down. It wouldn't make a difference because you'd still have a parallelogram. So if you wanted to, you could actually connect here to there and here to there. It won't actually make a difference in our problem. Like if you draw it wrong, quote unquote. All that matters is that it's 4 tall and 3 wide. Now check this out. I'm about to blow your mind.
No.
If I grab this section of my shape, right, and move it up to here, I started right here, right? That's where I traced out, or no, I started right here. Sorry, right down there. So now, what have I made? A rectangle. Yeah, I can. Why can't I? If we're talking, now hold on. Sorry, I said this wrong, by the way. This is 5. Now, if you have 4, it's okay. But up here, this is actually 5. I forgot to count this. Hold up, watch this again. I'm going to cut a triangle off the end. Right? Let me shade it kind of. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and, as to not upset you guys, cover up this with some area. Because all we care about is area. Right? All we care about is area. So if I slide this up and rearrange it, has the area changed? No, I'm allowed to do that. I can move a tile. And I have a 5 by 3 rectangle. To solve a parallelogram, area for parallelogram is the same as a rectangle. It's just the base times the height, but you got to be careful. They have to be perpendicular. So you go down one side, like a straight, so like an edge that is not diagonal on the paper, and that's 5. I go across it to see what's my height, or whichever you want to call base height, doesn't matter. Remember, there's no actual up and down in geometry. This is 3, and the area of this parallelogram is just 5 times 3, or 15. And every little chunk could actually match up with another piece up here and fill in the rest of a whole square. So if we draw a perfect parallelogram, this is easier to see. So now I'm going to come back to my graph paper and move it down to here. So let's do another one. Let's go. You guys probably want big squares. Use my straight edge. Let's go 6 wide. Well, maybe less than that. Let me play with this for just a second. We're going to cut all these boxes in perfect halves. Go 4 wide, since I already had told you a 4. Okay, I can't count. Mine's 5. Whatever you have actually doesn't really matter. The reason I did this is to get perfect halves, so you could see this. Check it. This half down here, right? That's a perfect half square. Can just slide over and become this half down here, right? These 1 1/2 can slide over and be this 1 1/2.
That's so cool.
So if the parallelogram is drawn perfectly, it's really easy to see that we can just stack up the pieces as I take them off of here and move them over to here. And then the last thing, this section here would become this section here, and it's just a rectangle. So on your homework, when you see parallelograms, don't freak out. Just find the perpendicular measurements, base and height. They have to be at a right angle. And then multiply. All right, have a great day, guys.